Welcome to our YouTube channel, Africans Talk Football. Appreciate your guys' continued support. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.
So welcome back to another episode of Africans Talk Football, where we bring you fresh soccer news, highlighting the Africans and African Americans that have seen success within the sport. We'll also bring you news from our favorite teams within the Premier League, MLS, NWSL, as well as informing you on other top European leagues and soccer news worldwide. Whether this is your first episode with us or you've been rocking with us from the jump, just want to say thank you again to all of our friends and supporters. Once again, my name is Cornelius, and I'm joined by my boys and fellow co-hosts. Mike, it was good seeing you this weekend. How are you feeling?
I know. It was good seeing you guys, man. It's always a good time when we link up, man. How you feeling, Salam?
Oh, great. Feeling great. How about you, Gabriel?
I feel good, man. It's definitely good seeing Mike over the weekend. Aina, how you feel, man?
Shout out the man, shout out my Chelsea youth, my Ola Aina vibes today. You know, got the hair all out. But nah, man, it was good seeing Mike this weekend. Shout out Zach Fox, went down to Columbus to see that comedy show. Hilarious. Honestly, it was really, really funny. I didn't really know what to expect, but he did like 10 minutes of crowd work to start off the show, and then just a really good hour set. The two guys before him were funny as well. The first guy was from Cleveland. Can't remember his name. And then the second guy was also from Atlanta. So good show. Good seeing Mike. On a little international break, you know, so no Premier League this weekend, but we honestly had a lot in the terms of world football. We had African World Cup qualifiers. We had European matches for the Nations League, and they also had some qualifiers as well. You know, through this week, we had some qualifiers today. So really want to start with the U.S. men's national team. However, there's been a lot of talk about the U.S. men's national team, especially after the loss to Panama this past week in the what was our tournament called? The
CONCACAF Nations.
The CONCACAF Nations. Yeah, the Nations Cup. And, you know, there's been a lot of talk specifically because Panama's had our number in the last few times that we've seen them, all in, you know, pretty big and important matches, you know, whether it be a World Cup qualifier. This is a tournament here itself. But what was interesting is there's a lot of discourse about this team and the loss that we suffered, especially with the U.S. being the host nation of the World Cup next year. And Landon Donovan actually tweeted this a few days ago, and I just saw it and I put it in the chat. So I want to start off with this tweet, and then I'll pose a question to the group. So I'm sick of hearing how talented this group of players is and all the amazing clubs they play for. If you aren't going to show up and actually give a shit about playing for your national team, decline the invite. Talent is great. Pride is better. That's from Landon Donovan, former U.S. men's national team captain, former LA Galaxy player and captain. And honestly, I agree with this 100%. I just want to say my piece by saying last year, or not last year, but a couple of years ago during the 2022 World Cup, I gassed this team a little bit. You know, we went past the group stages. We got knocked out by Netherlands. But I said, this team's core, their age is around 22, 23 years old. A lot of these guys are starting to play in Europe or play in Europe already. Give this team 4 years. The next World Cup's in the U.S. The core of this team will be around 25, 26. This team should be strong and getting stronger, and I expect this team to be able to go ahead and do some damage. And I know there's been a lot of controversy on whether this team is good enough. And honestly, what this showed me is that what Landon said was right, man. I didn't see a lot of pride. I didn't see a lot of players playing for the badge. And it's sad when you see that because, at least specifically for me, I'm going to talk just for me, I expect a lot out of this team. I ain't going to hold you. Like, I expect, a lot out of this team. And it's not just because they all play in Europe, which is a big factor. But I've seen these players grow. Like we've actually watched this team since they were 16, 17, 18. I feel like a lot of us have been watching this. This is the first U.S. national team I can say personally that I've seen actually grow as a team. So for them to have this core for, 3-4 years at this point, I don't care where y'all play. Y'all should know each other. You guys should be homies. You guys should know how to play and when to play for each other. You guys should not be, playing down to competition after the World Cup that you just had. So a lot of this just comes down to, I don't know if it's the coaching. I don't know if it's these players just not being on the same page. I really don't know what it is, but they got to figure it out, because this past performance was horrid. It was really, really bad. For them to lose in the way they did last minute of the game, essentially, I mean, for me, watching as a fan, it's the game was boring. The game was lethargic. We never looked like we wanted to take control. And then in the end of the match, when you should maybe start to fight for something, because this is a semifinal, you just give the ball away in the defensive third, essentially, and then you don't even get back because we had numbers. If you look at the actual play, we lose the ball. We have 4 defenders back against 2 of their players, and then a third kind of trailing on the left. So it's not like we got caught off guard and we couldn't have played defensively enough to get, a stop there. It was just bad. It's like we gave up, we lose the ball, and then, what happens. But for me, I want to know if you guys think that this world or this team right now, because we don't know who we're going to see in our group. Do you think that this team right now, based on what you've seen, is going to get out the group stage of this World Cup?
I want to talk about this first, because thank you for accepting that and bringing that up, that you brought that, or you said that 3.5 years ago or 2.5 years ago. I remember when you said that, and it's funny because I was on the phone with Salam, just talking about some stuff, and while this match was going on, and just to kind of speak about the match, I know Pochettino is quote unquote still new, but the core of this team has been together for quite some time, and the core of this team plays for pretty decent teams in Europe. So for me, the fact that you guys aren't able to break down a low block is concerning. It's true. It is truly concerning. Panama played in a low block the whole match, 4-5-1, 5-4-1, pretty much the whole match, and we had possession, and it was to the point where we just looked bored in possession. It's like we didn't know what to do. It would go to Tim Ream, it would go to Richards, and then it would go to Tyler Adams. They would, take that first touch. They wouldn't really open their hips most of the time. Weston McKennie, they wouldn't open their hips. That first touch would be back. Then they'd pick their head up and then try to break the line. But by then, Panama's set. And I really think that was the issue. And I think for a lot of the match too, Pulisic was really missing. The middle was so congested. He had to go out wide to get any touches. And I feel like, Tim Weah, he did his thing. He tried to provide what he could offensively, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough. And, we could always, like he said, we think this team should be better than what they are currently, because they should be. Honestly, this team should be a lot better than where we are right now, especially with the manager that we have and, the experience that he has all over Europe. So it is disappointing to see them lose, and especially to lose in that type of manner too. Something that is completely avoidable, and it's lazy on everyone's front, from a team standpoint. And it was, to say the least, man, it's disappointing. And I had a lot to. I'll be the first one to say I had a lot to say when it came to the U.S. men's national team and how I felt, about their performances. And people used to tell me, this team will be good. 3 years where these guys should be, they'll be great. And maybe not great, but they'll be up to par, and they'll be, where we want them to be in terms of hosting the World Cup and potentially, making it out of the group stage and stuff like that. But if you're telling me that this is a team that's supposed to compete with the powers of the world, we're not competing with Portugal's right now, and not with that past performance. We're not competing with Portugal's, Argentina's, Brazil's, even Belgium's, Netherlands, Spain. Are we beating Ireland? Are we beating Scotland? And these are real questions. Are we
beating Benin?
Because we're not beating. We can't beat Panama,
serious.
And we can't beat Canada either. We lost to Canada in the third round match. And I know it's a little less to play for, and But at the same time,
At
the
that point,
result's the result.
pride as well.
So it's to say the least is disappointing. But I think that this team, they have a lot of pressure on them. But at the end of the day, that's the situation. This is what you signed up for. This is what we're paying you the big bucks for. And I feel like this team needs a leader, and I feel like they need to take risk. I feel like this team needs to just take risk. Midfielders need to be more decisive in the midfield and stop over. I feel like we're overthinking a lot. Just play free. And I don't know if that comes down to Poch's system and them trying to fit with inside that. But Curly said this when we talked over the phone. I've seen this football before. How we played in this match, I've seen this before. This is not new to me. From this manager, this is not new to me. And I don't know if it's a part of the system. I don't know, if that has something to do with it. But from a player standpoint, I need to see a lot more fight, and I need to see a lot more decisiveness. Simple as that.
Do you guys think injuries could be hurting this team?
That's what I was going to say. I think that they did have, a few absentees. Obviously, Anthony Robinson not being there was a big deal. I think Sergio Dest, if he's there, he makes a big difference because those two outside backs that I saw over both games.
Salam, we couldn't score a goal. That's
yeah,
my issue.
Even with that, look at our striker situation. Balogun's out, Haji Ride's out. I mean, with Ajuman came in, and I felt like offered you something different, something that we don't have. So, which I think he kind of puts his name into the bucket of options for us in terms of the attack, because I don't know, I wasn't that convinced with what I saw from Josh Sargent, but
he still should have scored too, though. That's my thing. Salam, yes, I understand the injuries. Guys weren't there, 100%. But this team that we fielded, you're still telling me that's not good enough to go and get a result against Panama? Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Hey,
I'm sorry. I understand. Trust me, my club is dealing with the most injuries we've seen in I don't know how long. But this result to me is still unacceptable, bro.
And I know, and I'm not trying to down talk the U.S. men's national team because I really do root for these guys, but at some point we have to hold this team accountable. I mean, we say the same thing about our clubs, bro. When United was losing against these teams, we're looking at you like, bro, I understand you guys are in a rut right now, but you shouldn't be losing some of these games. Same thing with Chelsea, same thing with Arsenal. We have to hold some of our teams accountable. Like, hey, look. We're playing this game essentially at home. We should what's going on? I'm so confused because not to cut you off, because I looked at this team go toe to toe with the Netherlands for a good portion of that World Cup game. Even when we were down by 2 goals, we had chances to go and score, and it gave me hope. I'm like, okay, if this is the new baseline right here, then by 2026 we should be all right. We're in March of 2025, and now we're under a new manager, and we don't know what we're to expect these next couple of matches, because based off this, sure, injuries, yes, I'm not going to take that into account, but this is not the match I thought that would be struggling.
I mean, yeah, I think that we're finding out a lot of things at the same time about a lot of different situations, in the sense of, I saw someone say, I think it was Stuart Holden, he said something about how maybe these players aren't as good as we think, or maybe it was part of the Donovan quote. Maybe these players are not as good as we think they are. I mean, I would say from both games, I think that the players that did well that do play in Europe, because those are the ones that are getting the most criticism, and probably rightfully so, is Weston McKennie. I think he did fine over both legs. It wasn't his best game. Tyler Adams is coming back from a long-term injury, He just came back from Bournemouth not too long ago. So all things considering, I would say that he didn't have a terrible showing. Pulisic really struggled, and I think Pulisic really struggled because he was more played in a central role, which Poch is saying he sees Pulisic as the way he did Eriksson all those years during the Spurs era, and I don't think that I don't see Pulisic that way. I think Pulisic is better off the wing. I think he's better off the left, and I don't know, man. I think that the tough part is that this manager is still trying to get to know these players. I'm gonna say this now. I don't think that this Pochettino hire was the best decision. I don't think so. You're bringing in someone who has no international management experience at all. International managing these international teams is much different from internationaling. I'm sorry, managing the managing the club teams.
Club teams, yeah.
And on top of that, you're not bringing in, and no disrespect to him, but you're not bringing in someone who has a proven like track record in these cups. You're not bringing in like a Jose Mourinho, someone who is decisive, someone who's a risk taker, someone in big moments can show you that like I can at least try and affect the game by doing something. You know, this is someone who is managing Spurs. Nonetheless, I understand. I felt like we had to get somebody big in here, someone with a big personality because we are hosting the World Cup, and you know, to have someone of that name, that stuff matters. But I don't know, man. I don't think that this team is complete by any means. I think there's still some additions that need to come into this team. One of the biggest things, to Cornelius's point, was in the attacking third, we lacked a lot of creativity. If you're going to play in this role, um, Pulisic has to play out wide, and you need a number 10, someone who's going to come and create and score goals. And I don't want to go.
That's where
listen. I don't want to go based off of rumors, but if these rumors are concrete with Acosta potentially playing with the U.S., I think that that's a complete game changer for us. Because if you could put him centrally and allow Pulisic to play on the left and put Tim Weah on his best position, which is the right wing for us, and then finally have some sort of continuity or games in between Balogun and Haji Wright, can we see what that looks like up top? I think that this team looks different. So, but we need more additions.
So there's a lot of ifs and buts, though, man. Like, listen to all the things that you're saying that have to go right. Now, I know, like you said, injuries play a big part of it, and you know, if Acosta does come, it is a game changer. You're right. I will completely agree. But even, you know, just cosmetically, like what we're going to do to this team, just with the players that we have now, like I don't think if he sees Pulisic as a 10, like you want to move him to the left, but then that means someone has to sit.
I mean,
based on this lineup here, someone has to sit, and who are you going to sit?
Tanner Tessman didn't do good. I think, honestly, actions speak louder than words. For you to bring on Gio Reyna for the amount of time that you did in both games, I think also sends a message as well, too. I think one of the biggest people who I feel like really benefited from this international window was Diego Luna, the attacking midfielder for Real Salt Lake. And he's a good player. He's not by any means like the finished article, I would say, but he came in, he worked hard. I feel like he really
today, right?
He had an assist today, but he's someone who works hard, and I think that he's someone who, I guess, you know, visibly shows a lot of the things that a lot of these other players are criticized for in terms of not caring. And you know, this is someone who is in the MLS, and you know what I'm saying. I don't know, man. I think start looking for more players in the MLS. You know what I'm saying? All these guys that are playing out in Europe and not getting game time. Like, I found someone like Gio Reyna, bro, you got to make a move somewhere if you want to make, you know what I'm saying?
That's true.
This is a new guy coming in. You're playing a total of 20 minutes in both games. That's not a good look.
I think you all made valid points. I agree with what Salam is saying, though. I think initially I was also thinking, wait, this team is what's going on? But then I think we have to give them some time, especially with the new manager. I think we need to give them some time. But I'll say this though. I think the injuries is a big part of it. I think they have a lot of guys that, well, some of their guys, their main guys, I think don't play frequently on their teams. So during these breaks, guys are usually scared to get injured. Like, hey, if I get injured, am I gonna go back? How am I gonna go back into the team? That could be an issue too, but I don't know, man. I think they'll be all right. I think they'll be all right. If
But Matt Turner,
everybody's healthy, I think they'll be all right. But I don't
yeah,
think Mike Turner's the best keeper, U.S. keeper. I
yeah,
don't think he's the best keeper. I
yeah.
think you need to figure that situation out.
I agree there.
Yeah,
That's a
he's
fair
not the
point.
best U.S. keeper. I don't agree that he should be the number one.
Bro, when I saw that happen, obviously hindsight is 2020, but I saw that and I thought like the first thing I thought was like, damn, Zach Steffen's making that.
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah. Even
I don't know.
Schulte will get a hand on that.
Yeah, I just thought
Like
if it wasn't going to be parried away, I
the
thought
reaction was just so
that's a,
slow.
that's a routine save.
His angling too, like
Yeah,
it
the
was
whole
just
side. I mean, it's a great
yeah,
shot.
No,
It's
it
a
was
good
a
yeah, yeah,
great
shot.
yeah.
shot.
Mhm,
Yeah.
But
mhm.
that is, I don't know, man. It looks savable. I mean, even
It
it,
did look
it,
similar.
it looks savable. Even just from if you like really slow it down, like they were showing it when by the time like he's set and the ball was already halfway to the net.
Hmm.
The
And
reaction was
then, but
so
yeah, it
quick.
was a slow react. I'm looking like I
Hmm.
don't know. It's a combination of a lot of
Yeah,
bad things by the U.S.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
yeah.
not just positioning and not just the save, but also just the positioning of the left back and his reaction. There's a lot of bad reactions, but
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
I mean, we could break down that play, but I think that's a good place to end it. But I mean, as far as the U.S., I still think there's a mountain to climb, but
it's
like
climbable.
it's climbable. But like Gabriel said, I've just seen this Pochettino ball before, and with what you guys are saying with where he wants to play Pulisic and with things looking as discombobulated as they did this Panama match, I just want to make sure that we can get something more solidified moving forward because I got high hopes for this team. I'm not gonna lie, man. I really think this
Yeah.
team can go. I
They
think they can
can.
go far, but we have to
Hmm.
figure it out. It's been too many years of this manager, that
That
manager,
man,
this
yeah,
player's not healthy, that player's not healthy. Like I don't want this to be the era of the U.S. players that could have been,
yeah,
because it's starting to shape up that way, and I really got high hopes for this team. But
yeah.
The crazy thing is, I just wanted to mention, sorry, is the most ironic thing to me was watching the last game that they played versus Canada, and it's like, I mean, now I guess we have to look at them as a rival now, but it's
Yeah.
like you look at what Jesse Marsh is doing with them, and it's like,
Mm.
damn, bro, like he's who we should have gotten,
Yeah.
but that's I firmly believe that, but for you to bring in someone with no international experience at all, and probably one
Yeah.
of the biggest jobs in one of the most hostile moments.
Yeah. I think my only concern with, Poch as the manager, he needs time with these guys. And you only get what, a week and a half? And then they
I
have to
mean,
go
bro,
back. So
I think they said that there's like, I think there's like five or six more international like link ups.
mhm.
This summer they have the Gold Cup, but not everybody's going to be there because of the Club
Yeah,
World
Club
Cup.
World Cup, yeah.
So that automatically, like, what
Yeah.
I'm saying. So you're already
He needs
looking
time with him.
elsewhere, and
Mhm.
it's like, okay, well,
but yeah,
We'll
we'll
see.
see. Yeah, we'll see what's to come with the U.S. team. Hopefully, it's brighter days and sunnier days ahead. But keeping on the international theme, man, we gotta go and jump the continent. Take the little trip to Africa, man. We had a whole bunch of World Cup qualifiers. Liberia, Ethiopia, Ghana all participating. Um, Liberia went 1-1 during these World
Hmm.
Cup qualifiers, which is it's tough. 1-0 loss to Tunisia and then a 2-1 win against Sao, I believe. Hold on, let me get this right. Let me not make this up.
Liberia broke
2-1.
my heart, man. Hey,
Where is this game? Yeah, Sao Tome and Principe today, actually. So Liberia 1-1. We currently sit third in our group on 10 points. Second place with 11 points is Namibia. And then in first place in our table is Tunisia with 16 points. Namibia has 12 points. So for all of you who do not know, there are 6 groups in Africa. The top seeded team in each of those groups gets the automatic bid, and then out of the second place teams, 4 of the second place teams will go to. Actually, no, I think it's 9 groups if I'm not mistaken. So I think 13 African teams and all go to this World Cup. So 9 groups, 6 in each. Top team goes, and then the top 4 second place teams go based off points. So right now, Liberia is sitting on 10 points, which is not too shabby when you look at who's all in second place, but we definitely need to pick it back up. Ghana and Ethiopia, how did y'all do with y'all World Cup qualifiers?
We played 2 games. First game against Chad, 5-0 win. Had the
casual.
guys buzzing, man. Whole of Ghana is buzzing, man. It seems like them bringing Samoa John back into the team helped. He gave the guys pep talks. I believe the Chad game and this game they played today. They won today against Madagascar 3-0. And it's 2 games, 8 goals, 0 goals conceded. So this is a special group, man. This is a special group. I think you get the combination of players right, we could be a problem. This is a special group. But I mean, we're on top of our group right now with 15 points, I believe. Um, I don't know, man. It's just Chad and Madagascar. So, I'm cautiously optimistic, but I like what I've seen these last 2 games. Can't complain. I like
Me
what I've
too.
seen so far. Yeah.
Me too.
Finally, man, they're showing up.
Yeah, we also had 2 games over the week. Ghana. Um, but no, I mean we had a tough game. We lost to Egypt 2-0. That game was always going to be difficult. We haven't. I think actually, in the last 3 years, I think we've actually beaten Egypt once, which is, there you go. There you go. And then no, yeah. Today we were able to put up 6 versus Djibouti. So really, I mean, my whole thing with the national team is I just really wanted to recognize Nugu Solomon, who is the new technical director for the Ethiopian national team. A huge accomplishment to you. Um, I knew him as a player, as a very young player, and to see what he's done with Golden Boot and just himself as a professional has been really cool to watch. So shout out to him, and yeah, shout out to them. Hopefully they can continue scoring. They put up 6 today, so yeah, man, more blessings. But I don't think that we're gonna get out of the group. I think we're already 5 points behind, and Sierra Leone's in front of us, and Burkina Faso and Egypt, I think, will make it out. So
Yeah, I want us to shout out Sudan, man. Sudan is doing something special.
Yeah.
Top
They
of their
always do
table.
something special.
Yeah.
Same group as Senegal as well.
Exactly. 0-0 draw against Senegal, their last game. So keep an eye out for Sudan, man. They're doing some wonderful things. Sudan in the World Cup? Well, that would be something.
that's a big result for Senegal.
Yeah. 0-0. It's a big result for them.
Yeah, that would be huge for the country. They actually have South Sudan in their group too. I think they play next, which is funny. But yeah, just to go over the top teams in each group. In Group A, Egypt is first with 13 points. In Group B, Sudan is first with 11 points. In Group C, South Africa top with 10 points. Group D, Cape Verde top with 10 points. Group E, Morocco top with 12 points. Group F sees Ivory Coast on top with 16 points. Group G sees Algeria on top with 12 points. However, they are tied with Mozambique at 12 as well. Group H, that's a group with Liberia. They're tied, or no, sorry, Tunisia has 16 points. and then Ghana top of Group I with 15 points. And then when you're looking at the top 4 teams in second place, Gabon with 15, Namibia with 12, Mozambique with 12, and then Burkina Faso with 11. So if it were to end today, those would be the 13 African teams going to the World Cup. But we honestly have a lot more of matches ahead. So this could change, within the next year and a year and a half. So yeah, man, Africa's doing this thing. I wasn't making a joke when I said, can the U.S. team beat Benin? When you look at these African teams, a lot of these matches are a lot closer than what you think. A lot of these teams that have
for real
these players playing all over Europe, when they come back home and it's time to put on the boots and run with the runners, like these teams, come together and it's a lot more difficult than you think. So
could USA beat Ghana right now?
No,
I don't think so. Not right now.
No, I don't think so either. And it's funny.
Yeah, I can probably name 5 African countries that the U.S. probably is going to beat right now. I can name 5.
You're right.
I could probably name more than 5, but if we're
if we're being honest, but I can name 5, a solid 5.
Liberia?
No, they'd be in Liberia. I love Liberia, but they'd be in Liberia.
Okay, go ahead.
You only named the 5?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Ivory Coast, Senegal, Ghana, Nigeria,
Morocco.
Morocco.
Dude, there's more actually.
That's why that's what I'm saying. I was just gonna say 5, but
that's a solid 5.
I was gonna say Egypt,
Egypt, Cameroon,
Algeria. Will they beat Sudan?
All right, yeah,
they should be.
I think we will be Sudan.
Sure, we might even, you know what I'm saying? We might even swipe at you.
Are they beating Gabon?
Wow.
See, now that's where it gets tough.
Now it gets close.
It'll be close.
It'll be close. Okay, all right.
Cape Verde. They're not beating Cape Verde.
Wow, Cape Verde. Sneaky Cape Verde.
Cape Verde's the solid.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's where it gets sneaky. Like
Cape Verde is the African Croatian team.
that's a great shot, actually. That's a great shot. But yeah, so I mean,
Cameroon. Are they beating Cameroon?
Yeah, we said Cameroon.
Oh, you said Cameroon.
Yeah.
Not beating
Cameroon. I mean, a lot of those first place teams that I said in the group, I would take a lot of those teams, right? To be honest, but yeah, man, I don't think the U.S. is far off, but I think there are a lot of steps that we need to take to make sure that we are at our A team when we get, to the World Cup next year. But moving away from Africa, we also have some European matches. Just want to touch on a few of those. I want to start with the English national team because England did play today. They actually had their World Cup qualifier. And I got to shout out early, man, Reece James. Shout out to him for getting his first international goal. But also shout out to all those English players that got their first international goal. Miles Lewis-Skelly, we're talking about him a little bit earlier too. But yeah, I want to talk about England just because, new coach over there as well with Thomas Tuchel. So this is the first time we're actually getting to see him run with the English boys, the 3 Lions. I'm not going to lie, from both of their matches over this international break, I like what I saw. Their first match against Albania, the 2-0 win. Lewis-Skelly got his first goal. Kane scored there as well. And then today against Latvia, Reece James, Harry Kane, and then Eze came on with a super sub and got the 3rd goal just to clean it out there. 5 goals over those 2 matches, clean sheets on both. I'll just say the one point I want to make is what I saw that I liked about Tuchel. From this game to the game that they had passed, you saw some significant lineup changes. And I like the fact that we saw that because, last week we were talking about the roster. We were talking about the players that Tuchel decided to bring, on this English roster. And we talked about how you didn't see, you saw some of the same names that we expected to see, but we also saw a lot of new names. And we wondered if these guys were actually going to get playing time. And I like what we saw today. We saw Reece James get a start. We saw Morgan Rogers get a start. Last game you saw Dan Burn get a start. You saw Lewis-Skelly get a start. And when we had Gareth Southgate, you knew who was going to be on the team, and you knew who essentially was going to start, barring anyone getting injured. So to see, a change in the roster over these two matches, and they both yielded good results. Like I said, I like this Morgan Rogers kid, man. There was a lot that he was doing in the first half, specifically getting these, especially in the attacking third. I like having Jude as that mainstay. You could tell that he's really just fitting into that English team. Even Declan Rice, man, those two, I'm not gonna lie, they really have settled into that English team very, very nicely. And so I like what Tuchel's doing over there. This English team looks very, very solid. They're doing this without Saka. When he comes back, his spot is guaranteed. So for me, it was just good seeing fresh faces, new faces, and this English team actually, I got it looks good for them. We're breaking away from that Southgate mold, so I'm excited to see what Tuchel does with this squad. For
real. Yeah. Shout out Lewis Skelly, man. What like a month he's having. If I'm being honest, for him as an 18-year-old, debut match, debut goal.
Scrutiny. He even got a little bit of
Champions League, doing well. I mean, yeah, he's just been doing well especially under all the pressure that that's been on him. Since he's kind of emerged. So, I'm just I'm really happy from what I saw from him. I think, I don't know, I don't want to say it too soon, but he started both matches for a reason. So, and he played very, very well in both matches. Very, very well. So, yeah, no, it's exciting to see him there. But yeah, just as a unit, this team looked good. Like you said, I like how he changed up the lineups, and everyone seemed to play well. If I'm being completely honest, everyone seemed like they were on their A game, and I think I think this. I've a good feeling about this English team because I feel like most of these players are somewhat already kind of used to Tuchel. Have played against him, have played with him at some point in their career, and I don't know. I feel like that adds kind of an almost an ease to it as well. Previously a lot of English managers always have their guys that they played with, or or that they've played against, or there hasn't been that familiarity with the manager, and I feel like Tuchel is a manager that a lot of these players are familiar with, and I feel like that's also helping this team as well. So yeah, no, I think it's like a lot of good vibes going on over there. Just with new players getting rotated in, so there's new attitudes, a new feeling around the ground, and a lot of new leaders that he brought up too. If you look at it, a lot of these new call ups, most of these guys are the man on their team, or the captain of their team, or if not the captain, second captain, he gets past the armband when the captain gets subbed off. So, or just the leader through their play. And I feel like he brought up a lot of leaders, which made a huge difference too. So, I like what he's doing so far, and hopefully they can continue.
Yeah, you made some solid points. You pretty much said everything I was gonna say. I do think this Tuchel hire could go down as one of the best hires in England football history. I mean, I just think this guy slept on, and what he's shown us this past two games, he's shown us some, that he can adjust. He can use different types of players, within a different system, within his system. Gabriel said everything. You could tell the vibes are different. Guys feel more confident. I think it's a good thing they went with a German manager, somebody who's not English, so that criticism will not affect them as much if there was any type of criticism. But
Tuchel doesn't care. Yeah,
bro, he's proven. It's time we start giving Tuchel his flowers. But I agree with everything he said.
No, yeah, I mean he's definitely proven in these cup competitions, and I think managing in England, I think gives him a little bit of, like you guys said, familiarity with a lot of these players. So I think that this team, I think with him, because he doesn't really have any managing international experience either, but he's shown that he can win in these cups, and I think if he gets the selection right, because I'm looking at a few guys right here that like Morgan Rogers, like you're probably knocking on that door to go to the World Cup, definitely. You know what I'm saying? Because like there's obviously like a lot of spots that are probably solidified already. Jude, Rice, Kane, Pickford, right? But Louis Skelly, I'm like, he looks like the starting left back to me.
Yeah.
And then you look at someone like um
Dunk is a good one.
Dan Burn.
Oh, Burn, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, say Dan Burn had a really good showing. So
Yeah,
man. And then who knows if Reece James can, stay healthy, and because Kyle Walker, like you don't really have that right back position, kind of
solidified.
anymore.
Yeah,
So
it's interesting because, like you said, he's not English, so he does not care about all this.
No.
Oh, heritage. Listen, he's going to pick the not only the best players, but the best characters for the locker room as well. So like he's gonna make sure there's the vibe is right in the locker room as well. And I feel like a lot of English teams, you have a lot of guys who are in powerful positions, and I feel like I don't want this team to. I feel like there's so many. This English team should traditionally always be good, but these attitudes can clash, and I feel like we saw that with the Belgian team. And I don't want to see that again, bro. Like that Belgian team really makes me sad, bro. You look at it,
disappointing,
and like how good they really could have been, and then years later when we figure out all the behind the scenes, it's like, so y'all were just beefing the whole time. That's why y'all couldn't get it together.
That 2018 team, man, that was the team.
Yeah, like that's a streets will never forget team. Like
exactly,
literally. So I don't want the English teams to, be like streets can never forget type. I want them to actually, do something. And I feel like Tuchel, he doesn't have any of the outside noise to really bother him. So I feel like he really will pick a solid, how many do they take? 26 or something like that? Or however many they take. Take the right amount of guys. And last thing I'll say is it's going to be crazy, the selection, because a lot of these guys are getting left out. A lot of the guys that you've seen in these past World Cups are getting left out. Oh, my goodness. Some of these guys, and I have some names. I have 5 names in my head now that I think are getting left out. But
Sam.
But we don't even gotta get into it right now. But
I know Shaw is one of them.
No.
Shaw,
someone like that.
If Philip doesn't get his act together,
some of these guys, and that's what I'm saying. Some of these guys, especially if they don't, I feel like he'll go. But if some of these guys don't get their act together, it's
like Connor Cody,
slimy.
Connor Cody, you're not going anymore. Harry Maguire, you may not even go anymore because I
don't think he will.
Dan Burn looks good.
Dan Burn looks good.
Come on,
they like
looks good. Yeah,
the Kwanzaa, they like him. Yeah. So
which I thought was a little premature, but I guess he's good.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah, but listen, there's a lot, like you said, Rashford. We'll see. He was someone that I was expecting. Hey, over these 2 games, I wanted to see you really, show me something going into, because I don't know. I think winger right now for England is really up in the air because there's really no standout winger.
Saka definitely has a spot.
Saka
has one spot.
But that's we know that he's gonna play, and it's like, but even with that, it's like, okay, we know that Cole Palmer probably is gonna either back him up, but on the left,
he'll be on the bench more than likely.
On the left, there's really nobody there. So it's just
Morgan Rogers.
That's the thing.
Like I'm saying, Grealish, you might not go.
I don't think he's
not with Tuchel. There's no way.
He's not going.
No with Tuchel. What?
James Madison, you might not go. Luke Shaw.
I feel bad for Matters, but
Maguire. a lot of y'all are not gonna go.
Yeah, Gabe, our list is exactly the same.
and some of y'all, if you don't get your act right, you're not gonna go.
I won't be surprised if Foden doesn't go.
And that's one where it's like it might be crazy, but bro, if Tuchel does not see you get your act right, he does not care. I swear.
Bro, when I saw him pulling up Jared Bowen, Morgan Rogers, Rashford, I'm like, some of these guys, I like this because these are some of the guys I really want to see get a chance, and he's giving them a chance, and they're performing.
And these are some of the guys who have been like dying for a chance to, you know. So, listen, some of you men, I'm not even gonna put names to this, but some of you men have been there just for vibes, you know, and getting time and minutes and this and that over guys who have been dying to get the chance to come up here. And when they come up here, they're gonna put in these performances as they want to be here, and it's not a guaranteed call up. And some of y'all gonna have to learn this lesson the hard way.
I feel like we're at the end of like the COVID era, you know, like the 2020s, like I feel like football always happens like in waves, right? In waves. It's every 4 to 5 years you have like a wave of players that are on top. And if I were to ask you about some of the top players 4 years ago that were killing it in the COVID lockdown period, it's that class right now that are being graduated out.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
100%.
Football moves.
Shout out to y'all, man.
Yeah,
Mason
man.
Mount, all of y'all.
My gosh.
Mason Mount,
football moves.
Rashford.
Think about it. 4 years ago, we won our Champions League.
Reece James, all of you guys. Ain't that crazy?
It's crazy,
a lot of y'all might not go.
Bro, that Mason Mount
is going to be extensive.
I think Mason Mount, that career move into United, it was never a good move. Yeah. It was never a good move, and I will stand on that. He shouldn't have moved.
I agree. Even
I remember texting Salam. I'm like, bro, I hate the fact that he left because I don't think he should have left. He should have just stayed.
Yeah, to end on a funny for the English national team, I saw a tweet the other day that said, when it was like, work is funny because you really going into your office and you really best friends with somebody that's twice your age. And then they showed a picture of Dan Burn and Miles Lewis Skelly after their first match, you know, because they both got their first English cap. Miles Lewis Skelly, his first English goal, and it's like they were just on top of the world, bro. And it was just like, bro, this is so good to see. Like, I'm glad that this English team is getting some new blood. You know what I mean? Like, because these fresh faces, just like Gabriel said, I feel like the vibes are right. You know, just like the team just fit. Like you're looking on the pitch and you're like, even Kane looks, you know, I know he wasn't scoring like he usually does. He was missing some chances, but it's like Kane looks a little bit more relaxed. He doesn't look as tense as he usually does playing. So whatever Tuchel's doing over there, whatever Tuchel's doing over there, kudos to him. And I'm actually really excited to see what this English national team will do. But that actually leads me into a question that Salam had actually posed earlier in the group, which is, which international team has the brightest future? So I'm going to say mine, and then y'all can say yours, and then we can discuss. But I saw this Netherlands team play, and I really, really have some high hopes for them. This team is good, man. When you look at their attack, when you look at their defense, I think they're very well balanced. You know, this Dutch team has always been one of those teams that like just hasn't been good enough to get over the hump. As long as Virgil stays healthy, I think this team could be all right. Like, I really think this team could be all right. You got Justin Kluivert, who's actually finally turning up. I mean, when you look at their attack, Xavi Simons, Cody Gakpo, they have a lot of players. Like, this team looks really, really good. They have youth and, you know, experience. I think they're very, very balanced. And a lot of their core is like kind of like the English team, guys that have been playing for a while, but haven't really get the chance to get that call up. They look decent. So I think this Dutch team, there's a lot to look forward to there.
Hmm.
I'll go next. That's a good shout. And this may just be an easy shout, but for me, it's Spain. Um, I think watching that game versus Netherlands, that was a great game to watch. I feel like you really got to see a um, lot of great players, a lot of up and coming talents. Um, every time that I watch Yamal, I just get more and more of the belief that he is really kind of the head of this new generation. I think, um, and when I look at him, when I look at guys like Nico Williams, when I look at guys like I'm blanking on his name, but the center back who plays for Bournemouth, he played.
Dean
Uh,
Houston,
Dean Houston.
which is
Yeah.
crazy because I had to look that up. So,
I didn't know he was Spanish.
bro,
I found
so
out just this break.
bro, I found out today because I was like, wait, time out. Since
Yeah.
when is he Spanish? So he was born in Netherlands, and then
Yeah.
his parents moved to Spain when he was like 5, 6. He just got Spanish citizenship February of last year.
You talk about a player though, like that guy is a player, and I don't know, bro. Like they have a combination of people like Rodri, professionals, guys that have proven that they can win, and then you have a spark like Yamal, you have a spark like Williams. I like the Sami Omriam, the striker that they have. I don't know, man. They just have you know a great ability to just produce young talent and just talent in general. And I think that this is
Hmm.
a team where you look at them and I'm like on all three levels, you kind of have a superstar on the back line in the midfield and up top.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Quietly, what's his name? Pedri, you know, he's damn near a vet in the game now.
Yeah.
You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Like and that's someone who is still a young player himself and has in this rough period of Spain, kind of was holding them down. And now look at you, him.
Hmm.
Gavi's not even back yet. So yeah, bro, Spain for me.
Yeah. Mine was going to be Spain too, but I have to go France. I think France still has a very young group of guys that I think are going to be together at least the next two international competition. Um, I mean, Olise coming in, Due coming in. You still have Kylian Mbappe, captain. He's going to be there for another, who knows, maybe a decade. You have a very good keeper in Mike Magnan. I think Spain was my pick, but I think France is very close. France is close as well. I'll go with France, I guess. I'll go with France.
Hmm. It's kind of crazy. I thought one of y'all picked one. Let me be completely honest. I'm gonna go with Germany.
Hmm.
I'm going to go with Germany.
Mm.
Um, this team sneakily has a lot of veteran experience, but guys who aren't like too fast or too past their prime yet. Like guys who are just like still in their prime with the vet experience and Kimmich. You still have Goretzka, you have Pascal Gross on that team. You still have Kai Havertz as their 9 as well. So you have a lot of experience, and then you still have some younger guys as well. Adeyemi, you still have Rudiger as well. You know, I, I don't know, man. This German team, they had a good little international break, and I think they will sneakily have some damage to do with this World Cup. Because if you think about it, their last 2 World Cups haven't been great. And I feel like they have a point to prove this World Cup, and I feel like they've added some new guys to the rotation. And that old regime has kind of left now. It's kind of gone. There's still some vet experience there, but there's also some up and coming guys, and
They
I don't
just
know.
need an
They're
attacker, bro.
sneaky.
They,
They
they,
need a like a go to attacker, but I still think it's enough, bro. I think they'll be okay.
Mm. Yeah, no, I mean, all good shots. I do like that Spanish team, but Germany is a good shot too because I like what you said about the balance. But yeah, man, it was a good international break because we haven't had one in a few months, and I honestly didn't really get a chance to watch the previous one. So this one I was tapped in as much as I could, and I don't know. Coming out of Africa, I know it's tough to watch those matches, but if you could find you a little stream, some of these teams are going to be tough to beat. I think the world is going to be in for a surprise this World Cup. 13 African teams now, with us expanding the World Cup to more teams. So it's going to be a bigger tournament held here in North America. I'm super excited to see it, man. But speaking of America, let's hop to the MLS for a little bit. Just to end, we got to talk about our Ohio teams, of course. Since I guess Mike knew we were good to the MLS, he had to take a little time out. But Salam, we'll start with Cincinnati. Tough, man. Tough draw, 2-2. Cincinnati up 2-1. And then, unfortunately, an own goal is the equalizer to only go away with a point. But kind of explain the match, the ups, the downs, and then how you're feeling. I know you talked about it last week. It was part of your recap as well, but the offense is starting to click a little bit. For me, I think it's the defense that's still a little porous.
Yeah, I mean, I said it in my recap this week. I think, the absence of Denki obviously was going to be an issue for us. I was going to ask you guys actually too, at the end of this segment before we do close out, what you guys thought of just the international break being in the middle of the MLS season, where it really affects the game. And with them talking about like relegation and stuff, it's like these are costly games. So but yeah, we can touch on that here in a second. But no, I mean, all things considering, I thought that this was a game, especially because Denki wasn't there, for Evander to get comfortable, and I think he did just that. I thought that he looked great. Scored 2 goals. And the difference in the game, honestly, was an own goal. It was a mistake by Alvis Powell, which I thought, up until that moment, had a good game. I think he just, had a mistake, and ultimately it cost us the 3 points, and we shared a point with them. But no, man, I think what's concerning is now it's 1 win in 7 games. So you keep. It's a long season, but we keep talking about how we just need everyone to click. We just need it to click, and it's like, well, we're having these kind of roller coasters in games where we have good moments, and then we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot. But no, like you said, Cornelius, the back line, I feel like it's starting to become an issue. We're leaking goals. We need to make sure that we can hold the fort down until Matt Miazga and Miles Robinson come back. But I think at this point we just have to outscore teams. So
are you guys still the best team in Ohio?
Yeah, because we can score. You guys, on the other hand, you guys won't score. You guys remind me of I don't know. You're like
I don't know.
you're like Arsenal right now. You can't score. You probably won't concede.
That's a crazy stray.
Wow,
No,
That's
I'm
a
just saying.
crazy stray.
You probably won't. You probably won't concede, right? But like, where's the goals going? Unless it's Moreno. So unless it's I don't want to say names, but I'm just saying like,
Crazy.
nah, man, we just got to get our guys back. But I think without Denki, for us to look like that, we looked fine. And I think we really have a player in Evander, so I got a lot of trust in him. So 2 goals out of nothing. So I think we'll be all right. Just can't shoot ourselves in the foot.
Yeah, Columbus also with the draw this weekend, 0-0. Mike, I know I feel like we say this every week, but where the goals coming from?
It's the reality right now, man. We 60% possession this week. I think we had like 24, 25 shots, but only 5 on target. I told you guys, I like this Russell kid. I like him a lot. I think he's gonna be good for us. But the player we have in Rossi, he needs help because right now he seems like the only guy really pulling the strings for us. So the goals are gonna be tough to come by, but we all believe there's gonna be some movement either coming in or going out. So I know somebody's gonna come in. It just has to be the right guy. I still don't understand why we traded Christian Ramirez to LA Galaxy. I mean, this guy was really good for us last season.
Yeah, he was
You
solid.
know, so
He
I don't
scored
quite
this weekend, too.
understand that move. So with him going, I thought they were gonna bring somebody in, but I guess they believe in Russell. My beef with this team is that when you watch us play, we play very organized. We play very well. It's just the chances just don't turn into goals, and it's gonna be like that all year. It's gonna be like that all year, but we'll see what happens. I just think this game you can't look too deep into it because guys were on international duty, so there were some guys gone, but it's still a performance that I feel like we should have at least gotten one goal. Yeah, still the best team in Ohio. So
I can
FC
agree with that.
Cincinnati, until y'all prove yourself in the playoffs and win something, we're still the big dogs. You got to come see us.
I 100% agree with that.
All right.
So I'm curious. What are your guys' thoughts on the international window being in the middle of the MLS season? Obviously, it's already on the schedule. I guess the correct question would be, how do
Should
you
they
feel
change
about?
it?
Yeah, do you think they should change it? Because if they're going to go into like this whole relegation thing, we can't be losing out on points because
Guys are going on break. Yeah.
guys are going on an international break. Like,
Yeah, the thing is, they need to get on the rest of the world schedule, man.
Yeah,
It's that simple. It's truly that simple. You need to get on the schedule with the rest of the world. If you're on the schedule with the rest of the world, this isn't. If you want to compete with the big dogs, if you want to be one of the best, you might as well get on the schedule with the best.
like we can't be so arrogant.
Yeah, like
the whole world will change because we start our season in the spring and go to the fall. Like,
yeah,
all right,
like
man.
I'm sorry. That's the simple solution. We're the only ones going against the grain. Every other country in the world is on this schedule. So just abide by this schedule as well. It's that simple.
Right.
I don't feel any other way about it. That's
and I understand because we in America it's a capitalist society, and so all these contracts with sports, when you have football and which dominates the fall, you don't really want to compete with that. But if you want to be on the same schedule as the rest of world football, you have to deal with that. So it's one of those things, and I understand why the US decided to have soccer be during the summer. Obviously, we have different climates as well, so it just makes sense just for us. But yeah, man, it's about time. Otherwise, don't complain about it.
But honestly, if you're on the schedule if you're on the same schedule as the rest of the world, right? You at this point now have what's it called? You pretty much should still see all 4 seasons if you're in the Midwest. Regardless, you should still see all 4 seasons, and at the same time, what was the other point I was gonna make? Shoot, but either way, I feel like you see all 4 seasons. So either like the weather climate, it should be fine. And capitalism part. That's what I was gonna say. It's on Apple TV now. It's not on a major network. So Apple TV, it's not like it's we have to compete for time with football and this and that. It's like the subscription is all through Apple TV. So I feel like now is the perfect time to literally get on the world schedule next year. Like I feel like for the next MLS season, the time should just be. I mean, I know it's not that simple, but I
hear you, but I mean, the luxury of a lot of these other countries is their main sport is football. They might have baseball or basketball, but like more like you could say 75% of the country or more is going to be
in
watching
the fall. Yeah, college football,
the
professional
downfall
football.
here in America is we got all the sports, fam.
Yeah,
We got all the sports, and the ones that get the most airtime or whatever is the ones that have been here the longest. We started, basketball. That's a sport America created, not even 100 years ago. We didn't start football, but we blew it up. We made it what it is today. No one's really watching Aussie rules. No one really watches rugby like that. Not in America. So when you talk about that, you talk about hockey, you talk about baseball, you talk about all the sports blending into each other.
competing.
There's just so much competition for eyes. That's what it is. And that's why I understand when America decided to start the MLS, they're like, yo, let's just do this over the summer, fam. There's nothing over the summer. We
did it.
And I'm not arguing for the US. I'm just looking at the bigger picture. Like, this is why they probably did it.
Right.
And so my whole thing is you can't complain then. You're not allowed to complain if you're going against
if you're gonna
but I
stay,
do understand it, Salam. It is huge if we want to bring relegation over here, because now you're missing your international player when you only have 3 of them on your roster.
No, yeah, and that's supposedly supposed to take an effect in, I think, 2028, at least on the USL side. So I mean, that could potentially impact a lot of decisions that are made in terms of wanting to play here, and because I think especially it probably won't happen in this cycle, but I don't know. I think the timing of it happening now would benefit some people that are playing for the U.S. men's national team. I think there's a few guys there that are playing for the team now that I feel like could make MLS moves, even if it being mid-season, just to kind of help stake their claim for called up. But yeah, just wanted to get your thoughts. But we can wrap up.
Let's get it.
Y'all have shout outs? Or do we have anything else in the MLS?
I mean, unless you guys
Diego losing their first game. Finally lost the game.
Yeah.
To Austin. It's crazy, man. I want to continue saying
shout out Brad Stuver, man.
Because shout out to him. Shout out to Brad Stuver.
My goodness.
I'm actually watching their highlights now, but it's just going into this season, Austin was a team that spent big, really invested in their team, got a lot of fresh new faces. Maybe haven't had the start that they wanted, but I feel like I don't know who said it, but just going back to the fact of every week, it's just you don't know who's gonna beat who. San Diego, we're talking about how they're they don't look like an expansion team. Well, you did versus Austin. So and
their one goal's a deflection too. It was unlucky.
It happens, but I think it just speaks to how great the league, how competitive the league is, and man. I mean, just out of nowhere, Orlando won 4-1. Yeah, 4-1, and it's like, man, probably one of the goals of the season, I think, scored by Pasalic. I don't know if you guys saw that
upper 91.
Yeah.
No, he hit that too clean.
Crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
Makeup.
Yeah.
How are you guys feeling about Charlotte? Because right now they're right behind Philly.
I'm telling you, man, they look good.
Are they the real deal?
Listen, it's still, it's very, very early in the season. But like I said in my recap, this team is this team without Zaha really going off, or without him, like seriously impacting the team, bro. Once he gets settled, this team could do damage, bro. I'm not gonna lie, this team could truly do damage. More than I think people are giving them credit for, because you're seeing guys really. I'm seeing guys put in performances that I didn't think they put in.
True.
Say the least. So
when I look at this season, what sticks out to me honestly is the East Coast is strong this year, fam.
Yeah.
The East Coast is really, really strong because when I was doing my recaps, I was watching highlights and looking at just scores. And Vancouver is the only Western team to have 10 goals for. Like
Yeah.
there's like no other team scored, close to 10 goals. We have Austin with 4, and they're in second place. San Diego has 7, but they're in fourth place. LAFC scored 6 and 6, and they're in third place. So like over on the West, they're not really scoring too hot. But when you look on the East, there are a lot of teams with double digits. There are a lot of teams. Orlando they scored 13, but they've conceded 11. But I mean, they've scored 13. And they're all the way down in ninth place. Just this weekend, Vancouver they played Chicago. Chicago put 3 on them, and that's another Eastern team. So it's like if the best team in the West is getting smacked by an Eastern team by 3 at home, then this East, I know we talked about it earlier, but it's going to be tough in the Eastern Conference to make it out into the playoffs. So that's honestly my biggest takeaway from these first 5 weeks.
No, that's a good shout. I mean, I think Charlotte, for like you said, Mike, for Zaha really not, even being comfortable really. And for Patrick Adjuman not to be there and you still score 4 goals, all 4 different goal scorers.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I think that says a lot about your team, to where we don't have to rely on Adjuman to score. And I think Zaha is going to be someone who wins games single handedly, but those games are going to be, I think like he's probably someone who could probably get you 9 points on the season, just by himself. So, and he hasn't even really clicked yet. So, I don't think any of these guys have really clicked yet. But, yeah, Charlotte definitely is a team in the East that I'm thinking that, like, if I'm Cincinnati right now, even Columbus, like I'm looking at teams like Charlotte. I'm looking at teams like Philadelphia.
Philly. Yeah.
Philly is
Oh,
smoke.
damn. And I think even where's Nashville?
Nashville. I think Nashville moved in the top 4.
Yeah.
Nashville.
Philly, Charlotte, Miami, Nashville.
Yeah, and then
Chicago
already you know what the beast in Inter Miami is in itself. So
just
it's like
off the strength of Messi alone.
Exactly.
you have that. So yeah, I don't know. The East is tough. The East is definitely tough because I'm looking at the top 10 right now, the East, and I'm like,
it's
damn,
crazy,
bro.
fam.
Cincinnati sitting in 10th right now. 11th is DC United. 12th is Atlanta United. No disrespect to New England, Toronto, and Montreal. I feel like I'm expecting those teams to struggle a little bit this season. But everybody else, I mean, hey, yeah.
Yeah, no, this Eastern Conference is going to be it's going to be a bloodbath.
All right, let's do shout outs, man. Who you guys got?
Shout out Lewis Skelly, of course. Just keep being great, kid. Just keep being great. Nothing else to say. Keep being great.
Man, shout out Mama LIB. Shout out Liberia. I know we lost the first round, but 2-1 win. You just need to keep racking up these points, man. The World Cup is it would be an amazing effort.
Yo, I'm going.
Like it would be insane if we got there. So
y'all come America, I'm going.
Y'all can, yeah. Wherever y'all play, I book my flight tomorrow.
I bring my fly, I bring my bombota, I bring small kala,
bring the vuvuzela,
everything. Hey,
I mean, say y'all want jala rice, I bring that one.
My shout out is the Ghana national team, the Black Stars. We're back, baby. I love what I saw these last 2 games. My other shout out is Reece James, man. Love seeing my captain score a beautiful free kick goal like that. Glad to see him back. Yep, those are my 2 shout outs.
That's a good one. My shout out, I actually wrote this down, man. My shout out goes to Cecilia Waterman. Okay. Obviously, Gabriel said earlier, we watched the ending of that Panama and U.S. men's national team game, and Cecilio Waterman is actually the name of the guy who scored the winning goal. And I wanted to recognize him because after he scored, he ran over to Thierry Henry and celebrated with him and said to him, I don't know, in Spanish, "You are my idol. You are my idol." And I guess Henry said back to him, "You are my idol." So no, man, I thought it was a very cool moment, especially in black culture within the game. I think for someone like Thierry Henry to still have that cultural significance in the game, I think says a lot. So I think paying homage to the ones that paved the way for us, still a legend. And I don't know, it's one of those things in football where it was like kind of like a respect moment, and I think if you watch that moment happen live, you could tell that like that wasn't rehearsed.
No,
Even Dempsey was looking over like, damn, bro, like he didn't really want to smile, but he was like, damn, bro, they really the whole team.
We just lost on that.
They were sick. They were salty. Shout out to Maurice Edu and Clint Dempsey for pulling it together and doing your job, because
Maurice was sick.
You were salty.
It's funny because he literally looked away as soon as he got the ball.
Bro.
We both saw the same exact thing. As soon as he got the ball, I was like, he might score, and he looked away like you're about to score. And then as soon as he got the tears,
it looked like he was. Yeah, it looked like he was watching like on a different screen. Like because he just kind of looked away.
Because we got the delay. There's always a 7-second delay on TV, so they're watching it live.
But they showed his reaction, and like I looked like he turned away, like he knew that was about to be a goal. But that's smile.
That's funny.
Shout out to him, man. That was a cool moment. Definitely,
it was though. It definitely was.
You broke a lot of hearts for sure.
Yeah.
That's gonna be one of those. I don't know. One of those moments of football, but
they got Landon Donovan
crashing out.
Crashing out. That's how bad it is. He don't do this often. I got Landon Donovan crashing out.
No, but it's interesting. It's interesting though. I'm not gonna tell you. That's literally all I watched today on my ride. It like the reaction that you get from former players here. Specific like the big guys.
It's raw and uncut.
Him, Alexi Lawless. It's like, wow. You can clearly tell just like from watching as a neutral, like there's a disconnect between kind of the culture. I know, Mike, you brought up earlier, like how bringing someone like Asamoah Gyan really does something to the culture there. Here's a cultural icon. Like let's kind of bridge this gap so that we can kind of, because that's a big thing. If we can't relate to you as a team, it's like if you're just the guys that play in Europe and then you come back and then it's like, oh, okay. I don't know. I just hearing their perspective is always it's interesting. I would love to hear kind of like, I don't know. I want to ask someone like Bill Hamid, like, what are your thoughts? You used to play. What do you think? You know what I'm saying? Even though, shout out to him, he said, he still has aspirations of, getting, possibly called up. I mean, shit. I'll take you over Matt Turner.
DC could have used this weekend too.
DC. Shout out to their keeper. But no, man.
It's funny you brought up Alexi Lawless because before the Panama game, I stumbled on a video where he was talking about what team in Europe can the U.S. men's national team beat right now, and you won't believe who he picked. He picked Chelsea Football Club. Wow! And I'm like, yeah, okay. Alexi Lawless, man, some questionable takes, but
he just
excuse me.
He
said the U.S. men's
can beat Chelsea right now.
Nah,
Okay, no,
that's
no
not a good.
no way. No.
Bro, I don't think the
Bro,
U.S.
I don't even.
They're not beating Bournemouth. They're not
They're
beating
not-
Bournemouth. They're not
Right?
They're
that
not
and
beating Bournemouth.
that's not even disrespect because
Yeah,
Bournemouth
no.
is small.
Yeah.
You're not beating Forest.
Are they beating
You're not-
Brentford? I don't know if they're beating Brentford.
That's a
Nah,
good point.
You're
I
not,
don't
you're
think
not
they're
beating
Brentford.
Brentford.
And Buemo, I have faith in Buemo and Wisa to get
Wisa,
2
yeah.
goals, 3
They,
goals. I'm not
they
gonna
will
lie.
score. I can guarantee you they're scoring on our. Those were our center backs. Yeah.
You know what
What?
would be an even matchup, but I feel like the other team would still prevail would be like Everton. Like Everton would have just a jammy, just set piece goal, and that'd be it, 1-0. But maybe Ipswich. Yeah, we could
Everton
beat
will
All
actually
right.
be.
Yeah, they might be Ipswich. They might be
we could
Ipswich and
beat Ipswich,
Southampton. I ain't gonna lie. Them
Southampton.
two.
Any
And
other
who's
team
the-
out of and Leicester.
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 Yeah, I don't know about that.
So I guess it's Wolves or Everton. We're like 16th or 15th.
Are they
on the
beating?
table.
Are they beating Wolves?
I
I
think
can.
we beat
They
Wolves.
could be Wolves.
But
Yeah.
I don't.
Hold on.
No
Are they
idea.
beating-
It's screaming Cunha 1-0. It's screaming Cunha.
Yeah, Wolves.
I can
Wolves,
see it.
yeah.
I can see it.
Wolves, yeah. If you're struggling, I don't know how you're gonna contain Cunha. If you can't
Exactly.
contain,
Bro, that's what I'm saying. It's screaming
Mhm.
Cunha 1-0.
Can they
2-0,
beat Spurs?
honestly.
can they beat Spurs?
No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
possibly.
I don't
Because
respect.
I don't know, man.
No. Dang, you have that much disrespect. Huh.
I
No,
don't
it's
want to
just
answer this question.
I don't know,
You
man.
never know what you're gonna. You never know what you're
That
gonna get.
team,
From
I just don't know. I really
Yeah.
don't know.
Okay,
I don't know
so then,
if it's they're that
That's
bad,
fair.
their coach bad.
All
I
right,
just
all
don't
right. So
so
we're not
the
gonna do
last
the
one.
elephant. We're not gonna do
Yeah, I
the
was
elephant in
about
the
to say.
room.
I was about to say the last one. The last one
Team
I
behind
wanted to say.
Salam, hang it
Yeah.
on the wall.
That's saying this. The last one I wanted to ask:
Are they being united?
Could the U.S. men's national team beat Manchester United?
No,
The answer to that question,
Nah.
And the sad part is I don't think so, bro.
I don't think so. No.
they're not beating us. They're not beating us.
I'm dead.
They are not beating us.
Oh man.
That just screams. It screams.
Bruno Pen.
Bruno Brace.
Yeah,
Bruno
no.
Brace.
Bruno Pen at the
I
50th minute, and then he'll score like the 80.
Yeah, Bruno Brace.
Bruno
Brace.
Pen and there's a pen somewhere in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So there you go. Well, good episode, y'all.
That's
International break. Hopefully, so what? Next time we meet, our teams will be back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh,
This
yeah.
week.
Actually, no. Next
Yeah, because
No,
there's like
is it one more?
there's a long break.
One more week.
Yeah, it's
Jeez,
one
I
more week.
forgot.
We play midweek matches.
I completely forgot.
I think matches
Midweek
may start that Sunday.
Yeah, they start
maybe,
April 1st. They start
Yeah,
April.
April 1st. So never mind. That's a Monday, right?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
FA Cup is
Or
back
Tuesday.
this weekend.
Oh,
FA
FA
Cup,
is
FA
back.
Cup.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, but no one's who's in FA Cup.
Yeah.
Got real quiet.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Nobody's in FA Cup.
Yeah,
His
no, we
matches,
chilling.
his
We
matches.
chilling.
Mhm.
All right. Well, we got NWSL and MLS next week. So, all right, good stuff. Appreciate everybody for tuning in, and as always, good luck to you in your future.